Good evening and welcome to TC Network. I am Tingnay Tim Hokip bringing you today's news. Today's top headlines include Kukizo women stand guard at Gamgipay to bar CM Biren Singh's entry into Kangpopi. Kuki Naga group joined hands to oppose center's plan to fence Indo-Myanmar border. Kuki Women's Group demands separate union territory with legislature. News in details. The Kukizo women across the southern hills in Kangpopi district gathered at Gamgipay Wednesday morning to block the anticipated passage of Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh through their territory. The protest was organized to prevent Singh's travel en route to the Liangmay Changa Ngi 2024 festival in neighboring Senapati district, a visit he ultimately skipped. The Committee on Tribal Unity KOTU had earlier issued a stern warning to the Chief Minister ahead of his planned visit, labeling any attempt to enter Kukizo areas as provocative and potentially dangerous. KOTU has previously accused Singh of fueling violence against the Kukizo community and warned that his presence could ignite renewed unrest in an already fragile region. The protests, which began around 9 a.m., saw a large congregation of women monitoring the highway, prepare to prevent any passage of Chief Minister Biren Singh and other politicians and officials from the Meitei community. The demonstration remained peaceful, with no interruptions to highway traffic or business operations. Shops and businesses in the area continued their operations as usual, underscoring the controlled nature of the protests. This is the second incident in recent months in which Chief Minister Singh's attempts to traverse Kangpopi have been thwarted by local resistance from the Kukizo community. A similar effort on August 3 was met with a strong opposition, forcing a cancellation. The incident reflects the deepening divisions and rising tensions in Manipur, with escalating concerns about government-community relations. For many in the Kukizo community, the protests serve as both a message and a defense against perceived aggression. "We will not allow provocations in our land," one protester asserted. As regional divisions continue to intensify, the impasse between state leadership and tribal communities signals a significant challenge for Manipur's path to stability and reconciliation. In a clear caution to Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh, the Committee on Tribal Unity General Secretary Lam Minlun Singh Sit has urged him to stop attempting to enter Kukizo-dominated areas, emphasizing that continued attempts to pass through Kukizo territories would be seen as trespassing and could lead to an escalation in tensions, further deepening the community rift in the state. Lam Minlun Singh Sit highlighted the community's resolve, stating that under KOTU's guidance, the Kukizo people would pursue all forms of protest against what they perceive as unauthorized entry into their areas by Meitei officials. This stand, he explained, is rooted in the Kukizo community's long-standing demand for a separate administrative structure, a demand that remains unmet amidst a backdrop of ongoing unrest in Manipur. "Unless our call for separate administration is realized, we will oppose any attempts by the Meitei community to enter our region," Singh Sit asserted. The KOTU's message underscores the severity of the region's challenges and the potential for future unrest.
Women wings have gathered here at Gamgipay in order to prevent any untoward incidents, and we hope there would not be any misguiding by the state-sponsored authority in order to pass the Kukizo inhabited areas, especially the Kangpopi district, to escalate the communal tensions in the near future. So the Committee on Tribal Unity will continue any kind of blocking or any kind of agitations regarding the proposed trespass by majoritarian and Meitei communities on this national highway to through Kangpopi district, until and unless the Kukizo community demanding a separate administration will be met.
As the standoff continues, the demand for a separate administration emerges as a critical point of negotiation, one that the Kukizo community in GIS must be addressed before any path forward can be forced. As the center reportedly deployed additional forces to fence the Indo-Myanmar border in Manipur, two prominent organizations representing the Kuki and Naga communities on Wednesday voted to jointly fight against the move. Jaw Reunification Organization JORO and Nagaland Indigenous Peoples Forum NIPF issued a joint statement saying that by fencing the border despite opposition from the ethnic communities living on both sides of the border, the center is risking further alienation and marginalization of the communities. This disregard for the concerns of the indigenous communities underscores the insensitivity of the government towards its own people. When the fence cuts through villages, it not only divides their homelands but also imposes restrictions on traditional practices and interactions with their counterparts across the border, further eroding the cultural identity, said the statement. The two organizations said the central deployed additional forces along the border in Chandil, Tingnopal and Churachandpur district in conflict-hit Manipur to enforce their decisions to fence the border. The two organizations have been campaigning for unification of the Kuki and Naga communities living on both sides of the border demand in Manipur. The Kuki communities roar in anger after Home Minister Amit Shah announced in February that the 1,643-kilometer Indo-Myanmar border will be fenced in order to prevent illegal migration. Shah's announcement came amid the Meitei-Kuki conflict in Manipur and the growing demand by the Meiteis to fence the border. Meiteis claimed that an open border allowed the Kukis to cross the border and illegally settle on the hills of Manipur. This, they said, has posed a threat to the identity and culture of the majority Meiteis over the years and also aided the militants and the smugglers. Amit Shah also said the free movement regime system that allowed ethnic communities living within 16 kilometers on both sides of the border to visit without a visa was also ended to prevent illegal migration. But the Kukis, Mijos and Nagas are opposed to moves saying fencing the border would mean dividing the communities living on both sides who share ethnic ties. Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh share the border with Myanmar. The Kuki Women's Forum on Wednesday demanded a separate union territory with legislature to ensure safety, justice, and sustainable development for the tribal community in Manipur, a statement said. Stating that the voices of Kuki women and families must be heard, the forum said stories of those affected deserve recognition and their sufferings cannot be ignored. Kuki women must be empowered with education, resources and support systems to rebuild their lives and assert their rights, the statement said. We call for unity among all communities to stand against violence and discrimination. Together, we can create a safer environment for all, the forum said. We demand a union territory with legislature to ensure safety, justice, and sustainable development for the Kuki community, it said. Tingbem, a member of the forum, said they do not want the chief minister and the Meitei-centric government in Manipur to have a say in the Kuki areas. The forum demands direct funding from the central and handling of all grievances directly by the Union Home Ministry and not to the chief minister or the state government in Manipur, she said. The center must govern the Kuki tribals directly as part of a union territory with legislature, Tingbem said, adding that President's rule must be imposed in Manipur in the interim to improve the law and order situation in the state. A memorandum addressed to Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, Jagat Prakash Nadda, has raised concerns about medical facilities and appointments at Churachandpur Medical College CMC in Manipur. The memorandum highlights inadequate medical equipment at Churachandpur District Hospital and alleged arbitrary appointment of outsiders as assistant professors at CMC, bypassing local Kuki-Zo candidates. It also mentions the displacement of Kuki-Zo students and doctors from Infal Valley due to ongoing turmoil and under-representation of the Kuki-Zo community in medical colleges. According to the memorandum, the recent recruitment for CMC resulted in the appointment of 9 Meitei, 2 Naga and 1 Kuki assistant professors, with local Kuki-Zo candidates being sidelined. This has led to concerns about fairness and justice in the selection process. The memorandum also highlights the historical underrepresentation of tribal communities in medical colleges in Manipur. Data shows that in Regional Institute of Medical Science (RIMS) and Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences (JANIMS), tribal assistant professors constitute only 16.3% of the total, with Kuki-Zo community representing a merry 5.8%. Key facts provided in the memorandum includes recent recruitment at CMC resulted in 9 Meitei, 2 Naga and 1 Kuki assistant professors. 71.4% of assistant professors at CMC are Meitei, while Kuki-Zo constitute only 5.08%, similar underrepresentation of tribal communities in RIMS and JANIMS, and 30 to 40 Kuki-Zo students used to get selected for MBBS seats annually, but only 9 to 17 could join CMC due to inaccessibility of Infal Valley. The memorandum appeals to the Union Minister to provide sufficient medical equipment for Churachandpur District Hospital, review the appointment process for assistant professors at CMC, ensure fair representation of tribal communities in medical colleges, and nullify the recent appointment results and reconduct interviews with a neutral selection committee. The memorandum emphasizes the need for justice and fairness in medical education and healthcare services, particularly for the marginalized Kuki-Zo community. The Manipur Public Works Department said that Rs 2,395.51 crore was sanctioned for different road and bridge projects in the hill areas of the state from 2020 to 21 to 2024 to 25. In a press statement, the Chief Engineer Manipur Public Works Department on Wednesday said the money was sanctioned during the period under various schemes. It said Rs 537.61 crore was sanctioned for 12 road and bridge projects in hill areas of the state in 2020 to 21. In 2021 to 22, a sum of Rs 244.72 crore was sanctioned for 27 projects in 2023 to 22 to 23. A sum of Rs 708.27 crore was sanctioned for 130 road and bridge projects in the hill areas of Manipur, it said. The statement said 153 road and bridge projects worth Rs 673.88 crore was sanctioned in 2023 to 24, and 31 projects worth Rs 231.07 crore was sanctioned in 2024-25 for hill areas of the state. The hill areas of Manipur occupy 90% of the total geography of the state. It said that in the same period 2020 to 21 to 2024 to 25, a sum of Rs 1,300.21 crore was sanctioned for road and bridge projects in the valley area of Manipur. The statement said that during the last 4 years, projects undertaken by NHIDCL in hill areas amount for Rs 8,541.97 crore, while that of valley areas amount to Rs 351.08 crore. The PWD statement said also that the state is awaiting sanction of Rs 1,374.81 crore for the hill areas and an additional Rs 1,125.97 crore for the valley areas for 2024 to 25 from MORT, NH, and NEC. Recently, Manipur legislator Pauline Lalhaokip had claimed that 57 road projects worth Rs 400 crore were recently allocated to the valley areas by the concerned ministry. Criticizing the allocation as neglect of hill areas of the state, Haokip wrote on X, all 57 road projects only for Manipur's valley districts. This is why a union territory with a legislature is a must for the hills. District Administration Churachandpur observed National Unity Day with Unity Run. Today, Churachandpur District observed National Unity Day, also known as Rashtriya Ekta Diwas, with a Unity Run. This day marks the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who played a crucial role in uniting India. Launched in 2014 by the Indian government and initiated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, National Unity Day aims to promote unity and integrity among Indians. In Churachandpur, the Unity Run was flagged off by Sheikh Mohammad Jaib Zakir, SP Churachandpur, and attended by CRPF, BSF, 1st IRB, and civil police personnel. The event started from Mini Secretariat Complex, Tuibung, and concluded at Lamka Public Ground. Additional DC Churachandpur Thangboy Gangte emphasized the significance of National Unity Day, celebrating Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's 150th birth anniversary. He stressed India's unity and integrity. Participants took a pledge to promote unity, integrity, and security across India and inspire others to do the same. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, as Union Home Minister from 1947 to 1949, successfully integrated over 550 princely states into India, earning him the title of Bismarck of India. 8 hospitalized due to food poisoning in Songol, Churachandpur district. 8 individuals from Songol village in Sangaikot subdivision, Churachandpur district, were admitted to district hospital today after suffering from food poisoning. The villagers reportedly consumed local chutney, which is made of food items such as fermented fish, gentim, a local delis, and beans during dinner last night. Symptoms began to show at around 2 in the morning, with patients experiencing severe vomiting, diarrhea, and stomach pain. Under the guidance of CSO officials, the patients were rushed to district hospital, where they are currently receiving treatment. According to hospital sources, the patients were initially treated in the casualty ward and later shifted to the medicine ward. The 8 individuals affected by food poisoning are Ningnay Kim 41, Hol Lam 60, Manglin 86, Let Thang 70, Ngam Thang 60, Lingnay 55, Naumin 38, and Lam Khunay 30. All patients are receiving necessary medical attention and their condition is being closely monitored. The Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, TRAI, has taken initiative to stop fake calls and SMS from November 1. The initiative would help to curb such practices as it often creates menace for the users. The TRAI has asked all the telecom operators to implement it strictly. A user can experience a few changes in making calls. A few people misuse smartphones for their wrongdoing. It is being observed that hackers target users and make their bank account empty. The new rules have been made to contain misdeeds of such people. TRAI has made the rules and it will be implemented from next month. The facility of message traceability will be implemented from November 1. If a user receives an anonymous message, it can be investigated. A few keywords would be able to identify the spam calls and messages. If these messages fall under the category of fake or spam, it will be blocked. A user can also lodge a complaint against the sender of the message. The TRAI is ensuring the safety of users after witnessing a large number of spam calls not only upset the users but also involve in misdeeds like banking frauds and others. Aam Aadmi Party AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal on Wednesday defended ban on firecrackers, saying it is necessary for protecting people from pollution and there is no Hindu-Muslim angle to it. Mr. Kejriwal said Diwali is a festival of lights and it should be celebrated by lighting diya and candles instead of bursting firecrackers that cause pollution. It's not that we are doing any favors to others. We are doing favor to ourselves because ultimately we and our small kids will suffer from the pollution caused by bursting crackers, he said in a press conference. The Delhi government earlier this month notified a complete ban on the manufacture, sale, storage and bursting of all kinds of firecrackers in the city till January 1, 2025. The directive was issued by the Delhi Pollution Control Committee under the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981, and it also includes restriction on online sales and deliveries. The former Delhi Chief Minister rejected criticism by the BJP and the RSS that the ban on firecrackers targeted a Hindu festival. There is nothing Hindu-Muslim in it. Everyone's breathing and life is necessary, he said. Even the Supreme Court and High Court have said people should refrain from bursting crackers in view of the pollution and light diyas, ardent lamps instead, because Diwali is a festival of lights, he added. Indian and Chinese troops have exchanged Diwali sweets on 5 locations along the line of actual control, including 2 in Ladakh. This comes a day after the 2 sides completed military disengagement from the Depsang and Demchok areas, aligned with last week's patrolling agreement. Sweets have been exchanged at Chushul Maldo and Daulat Beg Oldi in Ladakh, Banja near Kibutu and Bumla in Arunachal Pradesh, and Nathula in Sikkim. The patrolling deal called for removal of military personnel and infrastructure, including temporary camps, from the Depsang Plains and Demchok, and withdrawal of troops from pre-April 2020 positions. The deal hopefully will end nearly 4 years of military and diplomatic tensions triggered by skirmishes and violent clashes in the Pangong Lake and Galwan regions in May to June 2020. These clashes included the death of 20 Indian soldiers in Galwan in June. Indian Army sources told NDTV Wednesday the verification process to cross-check that China had, in fact, withdrawn its troops is ongoing, and that ground-level commanders from its side will inform the other prior to regular patrols to avoid miscommunication. Significantly, both Delhi and Beijing will each continue to have surveillance options in Depsang and Demchok. Last week, NDTV assessed the first satellite images of the disengagement process. The agreement was announced on Monday, and on the following Monday, a satellite image from the Depsang Plains from the Y Junction showed 4 vehicles and 2 tents. A second image taken 4 days later showed Indian military tents taken down and vehicles moving away, while images from Demchok showed temporary Chinese structures removed by October 25. India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Parvathaneni Haris, emphasized India's commitment to increasing its support for the Palestinian people while addressing the UN Security Council's open debate on the situation in the Middle East on Wednesday local time. India stands ready to do more for the Palestinian people, he stated. Harris detailed that India's current development assistance for Palestinians amount for $120 million, which includes a cumulative contribution of $37 million to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East, UNWRA. He further stated that India had sent an initial shipment of 6 tons of medicines and medical supplies to UNWRA on October 22. The representatives also unequivocally condemned the October 7 terror attacks in Israel. The scale of our development assistance currently stands at $120 million. This includes our cumulative support of $37 million to UNWRA. We have also sent the first tranches of 6 tons of medicines and medical supplies to UNRWA on 22nd October this year. The terror attacks in Israel on 7 October deserve our unequivocal condemnation, he said. I reiterate India's call for an immediate release of all hostages and a ceasefire. We support a 2-state solution, which entails the establishment of a sovereign and independent Palestine within mutually agreed borders, he said. Harris urged the international community to unite in these efforts, underscoring India's role as a reliable partner committed to fostering long-term peace and stability in the region. We also urge all members of the international community in this endeavor. India underlines its abiding faith in its vision of a peaceful and stable Middle East. In India, the international community has a reliable partner that is willing to continue its engagement with all concerned stakeholders towards forging long-term peace and stability, he added. A series of Israeli military strikes across Gaza Strip killed at least 20 people on Wednesday, medics said. 8 people were killed in a strike in the Salatin area of Beit Lahia in the north, close to where the Gaza Health Ministry said at least 93 were killed or missing in an Israeli airstrike that struck a multi-floor house on Tuesday. The United States called the attack horrifying. There was no immediate Israeli comment on either strike. Gaza's emergency service said its operation had come to a halt because of the more than 3-week Israeli assault into northern Gaza. Israel says its campaign is to destroy Palestinian militant group Hamas, whose fighters had regrouped to the area in the year-long war. The Israeli army sent tanks into Beit Lahia, Beit Hanount and Jabalia, the largest of Gaza's 8 historic camps, and the focus of the new military offensive. Meanwhile, Israeli strikes in southern and central Gaza killed at least 7 Palestinians earlier on Wednesday, medics said. In Gaza City's Sekratwant neighborhood, an Israeli strike killed 5 people and wounded others near a clinic, medics and residents said. Hamas' 7 October 2023 attack on Israel killed 1,200 people and more than 250 hostages were captured and taken into Gaza, according to Israeli tallies. The death toll from Israel's retaliatory air and ground onslaught in Gaza has exceeded 43,000, that Gaza Health Ministry says. The gratitude that greeted Tuesday's dawn downpours was short-lived in Util. When the long-for rains finally reached the town, in the drought-stricken eastern Spanish region of Valencia, they were mercilessly in their abundance. People were very happy at first because they've been praying for rain as their lands needed water, said Remedios, who owns a bar in Util. But by 12 o'clock, this storm had really hit and we were all pretty terrified. Trapped in the bar, she and a handful of her customers could only sit and watch as Spain's worst flooding in almost 30 years caused the Macro River to overflow its banks, trapping some residents in their homes and sending cars and rubbish bins surging through the streets on muddy floodwaters. The rising waters brought mud and stones with them, and they were so strong that they broke the surface of the road, said Remedios, who gave only her first name. The tunnel that led into the town was half full of mud. Trees were down and there were cars and rubbish containers rolling down the streets. My outside terrace has been destroyed. The chairs and sets were all swept away. It's just a disaster. By Wednesday afternoon, the death toll in Valencia and the neighboring regions of Castilla-La Mancha and Andalusia stood at 95. Util's mayor, Ricardo Gabaldon, told Las Provincias newspaper that some of the town's residents has not survived the floods, but was unable to provide an exact number. Hours earlier, Gabaldon had told Spain national broadcaster RTVE that Tuesday had been the worst day of his life. We were trapped like rats, he said. Cars and rubbish containers were flowing down the streets. The water was rising to 3 meters. People in the town fear some of the dead may have been older people who were unable to escape the floodwaters. Remedios said anyone who could get to higher ground did, but there were some old people who could not even open their front doors, and they were trapped there inside their own houses. Residents of La Torre on the outskirts of Valencia City were confronted by similar scenes on Wednesday morning. The neighborhood is destroyed, all the cars are on top of each other. It's literally smashed up, Christiana Vena, a bar owner in the area, told the Associated Press by phone. Everything is a total wreck. Everything is ready to be thrown away. The mud is almost 30 centimeters deep. Spain's meteorological office, AMET, said that more than 300 liters of rain per square meter had fallen in the area between Util and the town of Chiva, 20 miles away, on Tuesday. In Chiva, it noted almost an entire year's worth of rain had fallen in just 8 hours. The ferocious rain have come as Spain continues to experience a punishing drought. Last year, the government approved an unprecedented $2.2 billion plan to help farmers and consumers cope with the enduring lack of rain amid warnings that the climate would only get worse and more unpredictable in the future. In a tragic incident, 1 person was killed and 9 went missing after a 10-story hotel under renovation collapsed in Argentina, CNN reported on Tuesday, citing local authorities. As per reports, Dubrovnik Hotel in Villa Gaza, located about 370 kilometers from capital Buenos Aires on the Atlantic coast, fell early Tuesday morning local time. Emergency responders, including firefighters, paramedics, and police, carried rescue operation and are working to clear debris to locate survivors and people trapped beneath rubble. The deceased has been identified as an 80-year-old man from a neighboring building, as stated by Javier Alonso, the Minister of Security for the province of Buenos Aires. He added that his partner was rescued, but it is unclear if their son was present at the time of the collapse. CNN quoted an official who said that the missing individuals include construction workers who were reportedly working clandestinely without complying with municipal regulations. Due to the collapse of the hotel, surrounding buildings have also suffered significant damage. It's reported that debris are causing extensive harm to nearby properties. In the video footage, piles of rubble and twisted metal with the floor of the hotel can be seen onto the level below. The hotel, which suffered damage, was opened in 1986 and was undergoing various renovations. Authorities noted that work had been previously detected and halted in August due to a lack of proper permits. Argentina's National Security Minister, Patricia Bullrich-Stoll, took cognizance of the incident and took to X to inform about rescue operation. She said specialized teams from the federal police, including structural engineers and a canine unit, are being deployed to the site. She wrote, coordinated by Sinagir, we are mobilizing 2 specialized teams from the PFA to a Villa Gesell to respond to the emergency caused by the collapse of a building. The first team includes structural engineers, rescue specialists, operations and incident command system personnel, hazmat and a canine team trained in collapse structures. The second team travels in a minibus and a fire truck with 19 personnel to provide logistical and operational support. Both departments from the Federal Aviation Corps are on Marchi Island, equipped with specific machinery and resources for the operation. That was all for today's news, and have a pleasant evening ahead.